Hey guys, it's Garrett again with Dr. Muscle, and today I'm going to be reviewing the app JuggernautAI from Juggernaut Training System. So Juggernaut's been around for a while. It was founded by Chad Wesley Smith. He's an elite powerlifter. He's regarded as one of the best powerlifting coaches in modern times. Very well respected. He founded Juggernaut primarily as a company that provided training and educational content to powerlifters. It also applies to general strength sports and sports performance in general. Up until this app, they've primarily produced articles. They produced a ton of articles and books, as well as one-on-one coaching online. So a few years ago, they announced that they were going to be releasing an app. A lot of people in the strength world were pretty excited about it. So I had the chance to check it out. I checked it out along with reviewing a ton of other reviews, as well as going over all the Reddit boards, and I think I came up to a pretty conclusion. Now, what's important to know in this review is me personally, I'm not a powerlifter. I dabble in strongman and strength sports and sports performance, but I've never competed in powerlifting. I've never really had any desire to compete in powerlifting. If you're not aware of powerlifting training, it's pretty intense and it's very, very specific. This review isn't going to be coming from an elite powerlifter. This review is coming from me. However, I'm not an elite powerlifter. So this will be a review just coming from that perspective, which is really the vast majority of gym goers. With that said, let's begin. So the app primarily uses the methodology of Juggernaut Training System. So you can easily read their books. You can find their templates online. You can read all the methodology that goes into their AI system online. You don't need to buy the app for that. And that's one thing to consider. When you're buying the app, it is AI guided, so it does track your progress. It tracks your recovery by asking you questions. Are you sore? How'd you feel? So on and so forth. And it will adjust your program as necessary. And it's really that AI guiding system that you're really paying for. As Juggernauts, you're really known for their training. Again, Chad's one of the premier coaches. And that brings us to the first issue. I wouldn't even say it's a problem. I didn't really see too many things where major problems here. These kind of issues these are just more of these kind of issues you need to be aware of. And that first is that no matter how well an AI system is, it's never going to replicate in-person coaching. Again, especially when you get with powerlifting, there's so many different variables that can dictate someone's progress and how they're feeling their recovery. AI just can't do it with a couple questions. Right? Maybe your girlfriend broke up with you that day. Maybe there's stress at work. There's a lot of different things. Your sleep. Maybe you weren't training in your regular gym. There's a lot of things that can affect the person, and that's what makes Chad such an awesome coach. Is that done this for so long, he's able to read all the nuance, and that's why people seek him out. And while the app is based off his methodology and his training, it's just not going to be able to have that same replication. So when you purchase it, I think that's one thing to keep in mind is you're not getting one-on-one coaching. Well, they do have an option to add one-on-one coaching to the program, but the basic app does not come with one-on-one personal coaching. This kind of carries on to the next. JuggernautAI is one of the more pricier apps, about $35 a month or $350 for the year. So you kind of need to decide, are you really willing to pay that extra money for the AI system, which will not be as efficient as actual coaching, or are you okay with just using templates? Again, this is also kind of from the perspective that people who are using this aren't going to be brand new beginners. Right? People who are going to be using Juggernaut are going to be lifters who have a general idea. Maybe they're new to powerlifting, but they've been lifting for some time, so they're familiar with periodization, they're familiar with blocks and stuff like that. And so this group, if you're okay with doing things in your templates, you need to decide if that AI system is really going to be worth it for you. Which is kind of what I was talking about before, is that this is for powerlifting. There is an option to do power building, which is kind of a new hybrid between bodylifting and powerlifting, but it's definitely geared towards powerlifters. So that being said, this is only going to be for those people who are totally serious about powerlifting. And this really means you're competing, that you're prepping for meets, stuff of that nature. Even if you're serious about getting your numbers up, this is going to be very scientific based off numbers, and a lot of people don't like doing that. One common complaint looking through Redditors was that there seemed to be either too little volume or there's way too much. And this might have to do with the AI system, that if you say, you feel good, the system tends to use a lot of volume, especially in the hypertrophy stage. But some people are talking about looking at 2-hour sessions. One of the most popular remedies for improving lift is to do more of that lift and just doing a lot of volume, and it works. So you need to ask yourself, are you willing to use a program that might have you in the gym for 2 hours? Do you have that mindset to dedicate your time? Do you have that mindset that you're going to dedicate that much time and energy into powerlifting? If so, then cool, awesome. But if you're just looking for something a little bit more casual, it might prove to be too specific for you. Some of the problems with the actual functionality of the app is that the auto programming tends to get stuck, in repeating the same exercises. Sometimes maybe even repeating exercises. And so, you are able to go through and change your exercises. If you just have no idea what you're doing, the auto programming seems to have some bugs in it that, at the same time, Juggernaut seems to be one of those apps where it works fine for people, or it just is awful and it makes people not want to use it anymore. From crashing, from bugs. I was reading a lot of different experiences from Redditors would just be so buggy that they just ended up just not even trying it. It did seem to happen on Androids more than Apple's, from what I saw, but that did seem to be an issue for some people. When looking at people's going through Reddit and looking at experience and results, the gains seen in like various 16-week blocks or whatnot tended to vary. The average, if I had to say, it looked to be about 5 pounds, on a lift per month, which some people compare to like 531, which is notoriously a program that adds weight slowly, which isn't bad, slow and steady. Point being, it seemed to kind of vary on the person. I would imagine the more serious lifters, it probably work better because they have that mindset. They'll be in the gym for 2 hours. This is just kind of guessing on the information I have. So it says that first off, I would only suggest it for serious powerlifters. Yeah, it's very specific, and it does its job. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a powerlifting app, so it does its job on that front. So it's for those serious powerlifters. Now, for the serious powerlifters, they need to decide if they want to pay that extra money for the AI system. Again, you're not going to get the full experience as lifting one-on-one with a coach. So if you're able to read your own body and you're able to kind of make some of those finer adjustments and the nuance, and it's Juggernaut works for people, but you might find that, hey, the system works for you and you don't need to pay for that AI system. You can go easily get a template for much cheaper. If you're all into like bodybuilding, this is not going to be for you. If you're into general strength, this is not going to be for you. This obviously isn't going to be for home workouts or body weight or any of that stuff. Now, in comparison, another elite app in that same kind of price range would be another AI app called Dr. Muscle. So Dr. Muscle was created by PhD holders. So again, real experts in the field. And obviously the first main difference is that it's not a pure powerlifting program. You can choose when you're starting if you want to focus on strength, but it's not going to be as powerlifting specific. You can choose to be more bodybuilding. You can choose to add more muscle to certain body groups, but it's going to have a much more broader appeal for people. You're able to adjust your needs for it to write to your program. And when it does write to your program, the programs are legit, basically very similar to something a qualified coach is going to write you. I've used it. I've messed with the different variables to see how it reacts. And to my surprise, when I first used it does literally adjust the program to fit your needs. And it does so in a qualified way, just like a coach would do for you, a qualified coach. After that, it does guide you along. You input how you feel and so on and so forth, your information, it tells you what to do, and you just kind of go from there. So on that aspect, it's very kind of similar to Juggernaut. However, Dr. Muscle is going to have that much broader appeal. New time lifters who've never touched a barbell and their stuff could definitely go on Dr. Muscle and start lifting right away. Dr. Muscle does have a 2-week free trial. And what I like about their free trial is there's no credit card necessary or anything. You just go give your address and you can start right away. After 2 weeks, you can say yay and nay and continue to then buy a membership and continue, or say no thanks. And so if you're all interested in looking at an app, there's really no risk involved in going and trying it out for 2 weeks. That's it. That's my review of Juggernaut AI. It would be a great app for a serious powerlifter who wants that extra guidance. But Dr. Muscle is going to have a much broader appeal to the general audience, but also serious strength athletes and bodybuilders. You know, many professional bodybuilders and strength athletes do use Dr. Muscle. So it does work for all levels. But that's my review. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time.